Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the live stream of the Get Money Show. It is Run It Up Wednesday, and we are here. I'm going to go ahead and go live on Instagram as well. Jesus, excuse me, I have had this cough for the past couple of days, and it is not nice. So you have to forgive me today if I cough a few times because I have a little bit of cough going on. But nevertheless, I'm really excited and thrilled about today's live stream. We're going to be talking about 3 secret stock splits that they are not talking about. And if you know anything about stock splits, if you ever heard me talk about stock splits, these are ways for you to get in on really profitable, high-paying companies that are splitting. And I'll explain what a stock split is. If you don't know what it is, I'll explain what it is. Do not worry. They're splitting, and it will allow you to buy them for a fraction of what they cost right now. All right. So we're going to talk about these. These are all predictions, but they are predictions by some really important and well-revered analysts that are predicting that these companies with much research are going to split. And if they split, that means that you are going to be in the money. Now, I told y'all about some other stock splits last year, and hopefully you listened to me. If you listened to me, then you would have purchased NVIDIA and you would have purchased Chipotle. Okay. If you purchased NVIDIA, your money is already up significantly, already up. If you purchase NVIDIA, let me know. If you are here, let me know in the comments over on YouTube. Now, I do have to give a disclaimer because I always like to make sure that everybody's clear on how this works, okay, on my live streams. If I'm looking at this camera, that means I'm looking at YouTube, and I'm saying hello to the YouTube people. I'm talking to you guys directly. If I'm looking at this screen, that means I'm addressing the folks on Instagram, okay? So if you see my head moving or swiveling back and forth, that is because I'm addressing 2 different screens, 2 different devices, and I want to make sure that everybody is addressed. Nobody feels left behind. Nobody feels left out. If somebody leaves a comment, I can, mention them or what have you. Okay, so if you see my head moving around, that's what's going on. What's up, Gigi? And where are you coming from, Gigi? Let me know where you're dialing in from. Charmaine is here as well. Hey, Charmaine. I know it's Ava. Gigi, Ava. How you doing, girl? Nisi is here from North Carolina. If you are a newbie, you know what to do. Well, you don't know what to do because you're a newbie. If you're a newbie, say newbie in the comments. So I know that you are brand new to my channel and you're brand new to watching these live streams. If you are OG, and OG is anybody who has been there more than one time. So if this is not your first time, say OG in the comments and let me know where you're watching from. Okay, I want to give you a shout out and say what's up to you. Hey, Emmy, happy New Year to you as well. Hello, Devin. Happy Wednesday from Chicago. Nisi is a newbie. Daphne's a newbie. Lavette is a relative newbie. Okay. Jasmine's an OG over there in Alaska. Candace, hey Candace, is coming in from Cleveland. Cleveland is the city where we come from. That's where I'm from. Candace is coming in from Cleveland. Bedford, stand up, right? Sue Fox is coming in from Ohio. Okay. Victoria is an OG from Delaware. Azor is an OG. Hey, how are you? Let's see. Kat in South Carolina, I think that says, is a newbie. Hey, I'm super excited to see you as well. Super excited to see you as well. Azor, where are you actually from? Let me know where. I don't actually know what country you're in. So let me know so I can shout you out as well. Let's see who else. I don't want to forget anybody. I want to make sure I get all the shout outs. Okay, we got Charmaine, we got Ava, we got Nisi, Patricia, I know you in New York. Jasmine is in Alaska. Elise is from Connecticut. Regina is in Houston. What's going on, girl? Emmy is from, I don't know where you're from, Emmy, but happy New Year to you as well. Hey, Devin in Chicago. Daphne's here, Jock's here, Valika. At least I see a lot of my rich friends up in the building. I'm so excited to see you here. Let's see who else. Anita is here. Keandra from Maryland. She's an OG. I said Candace as well from Cleveland, OG. Mastered DJH is a newbie. Hello. LaShawn from Tennessee. The struggling Christian mom. Hey, girl. Hey, how you doing? Beverly from West Virginia. Danita. Hey, Danita. Danita from Athens, Georgia. Lorna from New York. Sue from Ohio. Victoria from Delaware. Charmaine's in Florida. Oh, my goodness. Valika's in Louisiana. We got so many people. Emmy is in Houston. Jackie is in Chicago. Psycho Boom is coming in from North Carolina. Okay, what's up, Psycho Boom? You might be a newbie. Hey, how are you? Thanks for coming. Lakina is from Atlanta. Gwendolyn Bruton. You know, I just really love your name. Like, it's so beautiful. It's coming in from California. Felicia from New York City, or at least New York. David is in Columbus. Jennifer from Chucktown. Is it Charleston? I've never heard it referred to as Chucktown. That's pretty cool. Enjoying the snow day, says Jennifer. How are y'all? Well, honey, I haven't been outside today because it's like -5 here in the D. So I haven't touched a door today because I'm like, I'm not going outside. It was so cold yesterday that my garage door motor froze. So like I could still lift the garage door up manually if I unhinged it, but I'm like, that's serious. If it's too cold for the garage door motor to work, like this is a problem. I'm gonna stay home. So I haven't been outside, but it's pretty rough out there right now. Dividend Ken, what's up, Dividend Ken? You are OG here now. He's coming in from Florida. It's okay if you just getting here. We're just getting started, baby. Karen is here. What's up, rich friends? So Roxy is from Virginia. Kalila from Virginia. Kentucky in the house with Raquelia. Louisiana with Irma. Oh my goodness, so many people here. I'm so thrilled to see so many of you guys. We're gonna get to it, okay? Now, if you're still dialing in and this is your first time, make sure you say newbie so we can shout you out. If you're OG, say hello as well. But no matter whether you're an OG or whether you're a newbie, I need you to smash that subscribe button, all right? Every week I go live and I give stock tips, I give money tips, I give how to save, how to easily grow your money, basically how to get to the bag, right? And I give it and I teach it in a way that is palatable, understandable, and easy to implement. That's the most important thing, easy to implement. We got South Carolina over on Instagram. Hey, from New York, says Tyrone. I don't want to say, I can't, Maston Mora. Hey, Tyrone. South Carolina, says Cal in NC. Hope I didn't miss anybody on Instagram. Marcy is in Cleveland, but living in, she's from Cleveland, but living in ATL. And Vanetta, it's your first time catching while you're on break. I love it. I love it. All right. As I was saying, whether you're OG, whether you're a newbie, make sure that you smash the subscribe button. I go live every single week. I also drop a pre-recorded episode every week as well. So it's 2 episodes per week that teach you and show you how to get to the bag very, very quickly, but also in an easy to implement way. I feel like a lot of financial education and financial information is very boring, right? It's like dudes in white and dudes in black and brown suits, and they're just standing there with a monotone voice with no energy, just talking, right? But beyond that, it's also very complicated sounding. And sometimes it's so complicated that what does it do? Oftentimes it keeps you from wanting to even do anything or make any moves because it's boring, you don't understand it, and therefore you're confused. And confused people don't make decisions, right? They kind of stay stuck. And I don't want you to stay stuck because there's no shortage of money printing at Fort Knox in the United States, right? So there's no reason for you not to get to it. Absolutely zero reason. And all of the things that the rich and the wealthy do are things that you can do as well. You just got to know how to do it, when to do it, and what to do. And so that is my job here, is to teach you. So press the subscribe button. Would love for you to become a subscriber. If you are on Instagram and you would like to be able to see my screen and all the things I'm going to show today, you're going to want to come over to YouTube, which is where the real party is. It's almost 100 people over here on YouTube anyway, right? And all the comments are over here. So the real party is over here. Come on over. Just look for The Get Money Show on YouTube and you'll find me. Okay. Cynthia's a newbie. Hey, Cynthia. Hello, Lysandra. Hello, Irma. Nobleman Charles is here as well. Anita in Alaska as well. She said we're taking her weather. She told me last night, Anita told us in the Fix My Money challenge last night that it was 33 degrees in Alaska. 33 degrees. It should not be 33 degrees in Alaska in January. Like, it's -5 here in Detroit. Like, what's going on? So, Anita, you can have this weather right back. I'll give it right back to you. Okay. All right. So let's get into this, you guys. So what we're going to talk about today is stock splits. There are some secret stock splits coming up. So how many of you who are here invested in NVIDIA when I told you to? Let me know in the comments. If you invested in NVIDIA before or after I told you to, go ahead and put NVIDIA, just put NVDA in the comments because that's the stock ticker for NVIDIA. Okay. If you invested in NVIDIA when I told you to, let me know that you invested in them. Now, the reason why I'm bringing up NVIDIA, hey, Tracy, the reason I'm bringing up NVIDIA is because NVIDIA actually split their stock last year. Okay. And I came in and I explained what NVIDIA was. I told you guys to get it. I said, listen, this is going to blow. Okay. It was already highly valuable and they were splitting the stock, making it more affordable for the average person like you and I to get in on it. All right. So I'm going to just pull up, I'm going to go to Google real quick and I'm going to type in NVIDIA stock and I'm going to do a quick search to see how much it was. Because I believe it was probably like around maybe July-ish when I told you guys to get in on it. And as I'm looking at it, July of last year, NVIDIA was over $300 and then it split and it was like a little less than $110 or something like that. So it split and allowed people to be able to buy it. Lori is a new member. What's up, Lori? Let me shout you out real quick. Lori just joined the membership here on YouTube. Thank you so much for being a member, Lori. Lori now gets all of her questions answered live. She never misses anything. She also gets private videos that come out that are just for members of the YouTube channel. So if you want to be a member as well, you can join Lori and all the other people and become a member as well. So shout out to you, Lori. Excited to have you here. All right. So I see Jack bought it, Pat bought it, Charmaine bought it, Danita bought it. So many people bought NVIDIA, right? So basically it allowed people to be able to invest at a much more affordable rate. So let's talk about why companies split in the first place. A lot of times people think that a stock split is a bad thing because they feel like the price is being lowered. So what a stock split looks like, and ask me questions in the comment as I'm going along because I don't want anybody to be left and confused. Right? Oh, and by the way, press the like button on this video. When you press the like button on this video, it actually lets the algorithm know that this is valuable content to you and it allows the algorithm to spread to more people. So do me that favor. Like it costs you nothing. Just press the like button. Let's get those likes up to over 100 while I'm online. Okay. Press the like button for me if you haven't already. Please, please, please press the like button. Again, it's free. Doesn't cost anything. I appreciate you so much. Okay. All right. So stock split because oftentimes when a company's stock price has risen to a certain point, it becomes cost prohibitive for investors to be able to invest like you and I, like we're investors, right? It costs, if a stock is $1,900, like one of them we're going to talk about, right? If it's $1,900, how many shares are you actually going to buy? Probably none, maybe one, right? The average person doesn't have almost $2,000 available disposably to just invest in one company one time, right? So most people are not going to invest in them. So why do companies want you to invest in them in the first place? So companies are not on the stock market just because they have nothing better to do. Okay. They want to raise money. And that is exactly what investors like you and I do. We basically are they're fundraising from us. Okay. So some companies fundraise in the way of loans. Some do it in the way of private equity. Some companies go into the stock market. Okay. And when they go into the stock market, they are essentially fundraising and they use the money that we invest to own pieces of their company. They take that money and they use it for a wide variety of things, right? They use it for R&D, so research and development. Sometimes they use it for expansion. Sometimes they use it to buy other companies and merge with other companies, right? So whatever they're doing, they're using our dollars that we're investing as a way to basically get capital. So what happens when their stock price rises so high that people aren't investing anymore? Their fundraising efforts essentially start to dry up, right? Jackie bought NVIDIA too. I'm so happy to hear that, right? Their fundraising efforts start to dry up. So here's the thing. When the owner of a company gets capital from, let's say, a bank in the form of credit, that's generally like a one-time thing, unless it's like a credit line, unless it's a line of credit, right? But for the most part, it is a one-time loan that they've gotten, and they have to pay it back. And there's interest involved with that. That's cool, but that's not as attractive to a larger company that can afford to go on the stock market because now they got to pay back more than they borrow, right? They could also take private equity from an investor, right? But again, generally that's a one-time deal, maybe 2-3 times, depending on how many rounds they get. Well, here's the thing. If they allow if enough large investors invest into a company with private equity, the owner starts to dilute their ownership. So they go from owning 100% of the company down to maybe 75 to 50. Next thing you know, they are, at 40%, 30%, and they no longer have control of the company because they have less than 50% ownership. That's not attractive either. So a lot of them go onto the stock market. If you haven't pressed the like button, press the like button for me. Hey, Nicole, thanks for joining. They go into the stock market because they can get a whole lot of people to give them a little bit of money as opposed to one or two or three people giving them a whole lot of money. And therefore, it doesn't dilute their own shares very much. Okay? Does that make sense? If it makes sense, in the comments, say make sense for me, because I don't want anybody to be lost. Y'all know I like to make sure everybody's clear. Okay? Keep sharing this video for me, you guys. We're getting those numbers up. Make sure you press that like button for me. Okay? All right. So, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. So if we're clear on why companies go into the stock market in the first place, then we can move on to the next point. Okay, Devin said that makes sense. Okay, great. Valika said it makes sense. Cool. Okay, great. I don't want anybody lost because some of this stuff gets a little hairy. Okay. Now that we understand why companies go on the stock market in the first place, now we know why they need people to buy. They want as many people buying as possible. So when the price is lower, they will essentially have, theoretically have more buyers. Now, if that company is low and rising, they're going to have even more purchasers because more people are seeing, oh, I can get in for the low and hopefully get in before, it blows up and I can get the gains on top. Well, what happens is when that company's stock price rises exponentially to a price that's like cost, it's cost prohibitive, less people are buying in. But remember, their whole goal is to have as many people buying in as possible. If the price is too high, nobody's buying in. There's far less people buying Amazon today than there were in 2004, hypothetically, right? Because the price is so high. Oh, yay. Regina said, I am the first to make it make sense to her. I'm so thrilled to hear that, Regina. I'm so glad that makes sense to you. Thank you so much for letting me know. That feedback is really helpful. All right. So when the price is high, as is the price of, let's see how much Amazon is right now. Amazon stock is currently trading at $232, right? And I'm looking at it, $232, which isn't like ridiculous, but you can't, it's to buy 100 shares, which is considered a round lot. Like most investors want to try and get a round lot, and a round lot is 100 shares, right? So 100 shares is just a nice, comfy number. Like it's enough shares to make a difference in your portfolio. And so most investors want to try and get about 100 shares at least for every company that they own that they believe in. Okay. Now, to buy 100 shares of Amazon right now will cost you $23,000 because it's $232 a share, right? That's a lot of money. Most people don't have $232 to play with on a hope and a prayer that Amazon is going to continue to rise, right? However, if I'm looking at the stock chart back in 2005, can you believe Amazon was trading at $1.75 in 2005? I'm going to show y'all the chart because y'all know I like to share my screen and show y'all what I'm looking at, so you can see it for yourself. Because it's important not only that I tell you these things, but that you can also see it so you can really, really understand it. Okay. So let's share the screen. All right, here's my screen. So you can see that here right now, Amazon today is trading at 230. Well, it was 232 just a couple seconds ago. Now it's 233, and you see the price is going up, right? Did y'all literally see that just change right now? That price change? It's pretty fascinating to me. Anyway, right now it's trading at $233. So if we go down to 2005, we can see it was trading at $1.79, $1.95, $2.02. It was like really low and up and down. In 2001, it was only 68 cents. Right? 2005, it was 174, and it kind of stayed steady up until 2009, and that's when it started to blow up. Was $2-3 here, goes up. Even in 2015, it was still only $18. Once we hit 2017, that's when we started going up. Now we're at $42. 170 in 2021, and now we're at 233, right? So if you were able to get in on Amazon in 2005 for $1.79, right? And you want to buy 100 shares, it will cost you $179, right? But I feel like I did that math wrong. I feel like I did that completely wrong. 179 times 100. Yeah, I was right. $179, right? But now to buy those same 100 shares, it will cost you $23,324. That's crazy, right? I know, Dana. She said, wow, 179. Tia says, can we go back to 2005, right? That'll be great. Pardon my cough, you guys. I have had this cough for a couple days now, and I'm trying to get rid of it. All right. So as you can imagine, the costs, people who are buying in, who were able to buy in 2005, are very, 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 very happy right now, right? Because their money has infinitely increased. Now, stock splits happen because companies, their prices are so high that, again, most people are not buying in. And remember, none of these companies are doing any of this for their health. They're doing it because they want to raise money. So when companies start to split their stock, they are starting to generally notice a slowdown of investors coming in or reinvesting in their company. So people are not buying as many shares. So they're like, oh, hold up. Like, our money is getting slow. We can't have that. Let's split this stock in half, or by 10 or by 50 or whatever the case may be, so that we can attract more people. Now you might be wondering, well, what happens to the people who already have shares? Their shares are not diluted. Basically, they just receive more shares. So if you're already an investor, right? Let's just use round numbers. Let's say you have 100 shares and a company splits their stock 2-1. That means for every one share you now own, you will now own 2 shares. And that also means that whatever the price is right now will be split in half. So 2-1. Okay. Similarly, if it was 3-1, for every one share you own, you will now own 3 shares. And if you don't own any shares yet, your price, whatever the price is today, it will be split by 3. It will be divided by 3. Does that make sense? So if you have 100 shares in a company and they split 2-1, somebody tell me how many shares you'll own in the comments. If you own 100 shares today and the company splits 2-1, how many shares will you own? Let me know in the comments. How many shares will you own? I want to make sure y'all got this. Yes, Devin, 200. Perfect. Right? Exactly, Willie. 200. If it was 10-1 and you owned 100 shares, you're going to now own 1,000 shares, right? So your shares don't get, your amount that you own doesn't get diluted. You just get more shares, which is even better, because when that price runs back up, now you've got 1,000 shares. So let's do the math again real quick. Let's say that you owned 100 shares in a company that was trading at $100 a share. So 100 shares, right, times $100 means that you own $10,000 worth of this company. Okay. Now, if you own $10,000 worth of this company and that company splits 2-1, that means that your 100 shares, as you all just told me, becomes 200 shares, correct? But the price, the 100 shares gets, the price of the stock gets split in half. So the price goes from 100 to 50. Correct? Y'all follow me? So it goes from 100 to 50. So now you own, your stock is worth $50, but you own 200 shares. So you still own $10,000 worth. Feel me? So nothing happens to you. You're actually in a better position, because once that price runs from the $50 they split it at and goes back up to 100, now you have 200 shares worth $100 a piece instead of 100 shares. So now you've got 100 shares times $200. So now you own $20,000 worth of this company, but you didn't add any more money into the stock. Follow me? Y'all who are not in the stock market, I'm telling you, listen, the stock market is the greatest wealth builder that they have strategically made us afraid of. It is the biggest wealth builder they have made us afraid of. Like, literally, to double your money like that, and that's just an example, but this happens all the time, right? To double your money and you didn't do nothing else. You didn't add in any extra money. You didn't contribute nothing else. You was just chilling, and you basically earned an extra $10,000 or whatever the double would have been. If you had 100,000, it would have been 200,000, what have you, for doing nothing. They want us to be afraid of it. They really do. Because if everybody is like, oh, this is nothing, everybody's gonna be rich. And then how does the 1% remain the 1%? They can't. If everybody is rich, there is no 1%. There is no 1%. Right? And what happens when you have money like that? When you got money like that, you can affect laws, you can affect change, because money buys a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff, right? Not just material things. It buys laws changing in your favor. It buys all sorts of stuff, right? But they don't want us to know that. All right. So now that we understand how all these stock splits work, Dr. Nicole says the greatest wealth builder and all people focus on is if they lose their money. That is so true. We have this conversation all the time. People focus on if they lose their money, when by and large, all you got to do is look at the facts. The facts are the facts are the facts. The facts show the stock market has never lost money over time. It has always recovered every single time. Every single time. Like if you fall off a bike, you fall off the bike, you get back up, like you recover from that bike fall, like you get right back up. The stock market does the same thing. But people only focus on like, oh my God, what if I lose all my money? The chances of you losing your money are actually, this is statistically true, you guys. The fact is, and you can Google this, I didn't make this up, you are more likely to get into a car accident and die than you are to lose your money in the stock market. Did you know that? Not just get into a car accident, but get into a car accident and die than to lose your money in the stock market. But I don't know anybody who's like, you know what, I'm not gonna get in that car today because what if I get in my car and I die? What? I can't get to work today. I can't get to school. I can't get to take my kids wherever because statistically I might die. Nobody does that, right? Because they haven't trained us to think like that. They don't want you to win. I'm telling you, they don't want you to win. Like Michael Jackson used to say, all I'm trying to say is that they don't really care about us. They don't care about your wealth. Okay. I do. And so I want you to be able to benefit from all this stuff. All right. So let's get into the secret stock split. So now that you understand what stock splits are, why stock splits occur. Hold on. Tia said 2008 was ugly. It was ugly, but did it recover? Yes, it still recovered. It was ugly for the moment, but it still recovered. And you're right. 2008 was tough, but it came back up. I didn't say it never falls. I said it always recovers, which it does. It's always recovered, right? If you're just patient, you just relax, it's always going to recover. And you can look at that for the entire history of the entire stock market. That's not even counting the S&P 500, which are the 500 largest companies in the US. That's not even counting the NASDAQ 100, which is the 100 largest non-financial companies. So that's like NVIDIA, Palantir, Microsoft, Tesla, those sorts of companies, right? I'm not even counting them. I'm counting everything, even the companies that suck. The whole stock market has risen every time. You just got to be patient. Oh, yeah, you're right, Tia. I'm glad to see that you're still in the game. I'm glad to see you're still in the game. All right. Good for you. All right. So let's get into these. So what I'm going to tell you today is I really want you guys to either write these down, put them on your phone, put them on a Post-it note near your computer, on your mirror, whatever, because you guys are going to want to make sure that you are watching out for these. Okay. So there are stock splits. So first of all, stock splits don't really get announced well in advance, right? They're announced like maybe a couple of months ahead of time, generally a few weeks ahead of time. So it doesn't give you a whole lot of time to like lollygag, as my mom would say, or like not have your ear to the street. So I'm telling you about these today so that when they do split, or if they do split, you will already know about them so you can be looking out for it. Okay. Just like NVIDIA, most of you guys here wouldn't have known that NVIDIA was splitting if you hadn't been watching my channel, or if you hadn't been, kind of being aware of some sort of like financial information or financial, channel that you watch, right? Chipotle last year split 50-1. It was the largest stock split, I think, ever. 50-1. So imagine if you owned 50 shares of Chipotle, and Chipotle at the time was trading for like $2,300. So if you owned 100 shares of Chipotle, right? And it split 50-1. You went from owning 100 shares to now owning 5,000 shares, right? 5,000 shares, from 100 shares to 5,000 shares, just with that split. And then, of course, if the price rises back up, you will now own whatever you have times 5,000 shares. Like, insane, right? Absolutely insane. So, you know what? I'm gonna do something for y'all. I'm gonna do something for y'all real quick. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can do it. Let's see here. Okay, let's do this. Let's do some math. Let's run some numbers. Okay, let me fix this over here so that you guys can see my screen. Okay, so let's just do a real world example real quick, okay? Now I told y'all to buy Chipotle. All right. Now Chipotle back in this is the split numbers. Okay, so back in 2020, let me do max. Okay, back in 2009, Chipotle was $1.07 a share. Okay. As you can see, it has risen 6,529% since its inception onto the stock market, which would have been in 2006 when it was 84 cents, right? So let's just say you bought in 2006. Well, we think about what you were doing in 2006. Like, I feel like 2006 wasn't that long ago. So most of us can remember what we were doing. I was out of college at that point. I think I had just started grad school. And what were you buying? What were you doing? Were you married? Where were you in life at that time? Just think about that, right? So 84 cents at that time. And now it's trading at 55.69. So 84 cents. So 55.69 divided by 84 cents. 66 times. You would have 66 times your money. Let me show you the math on that. Can you guys see my calculator? I don't know if you can see my calculator. No, you can't see my calculator. All right. Well, if you do the math on your own calculator, you'll see you do 54.77 or 55.77 divided by 84 cents, and you'll get 66%, 66 times. So let me share this again. So 66 times, right? So 55.74 divided by 84 cents. So 66 times, you have 66 extra money, okay? So let's take that same number, and let's say you had put $10,000 into Chipotle at the time, multiplied by 66. That's how much money you would have today if you added no more money into that particular stock. If you just put $10,000 in there, today you will own $660,000, over $500,000. That's if you put $10,000 in there, right? So let's talk about the stock split. So let's say you owned 100 shares before the split, right? It split 50-1. So it went from, let's say, hold on, 55 times 50. Let's just, okay, yeah, it was trading at around $2,300 at the time, right? So $2,300, and let me show you the math on that. 2,300 divided by 50 puts us at around where it started trading, right? So that's why they were splitting it, because $2,300, who's gonna buy Chipotle at $2,300? If you have $2,300 to buy a single share of Chipotle, please let me know, because I sure as hell don't, right? That's crazy. But if they split it 50-1, as you can see, that $46 is far more attractive than $2,300. You feel me? Per share. Okay. So if you take, if you owned 100 shares in Chipotle at whatever price you bought it, okay, and then it split, because now it's $55, right? It was 46, now it's 55, so it's going back up, okay? It split 50-1. So we're going to multiply this by 50. So now we have 5,000 shares. Okay, I want to make sure y'all with me. You got 5,000 shares at this point once the split happened. This just happened last year. Okay, just happened last year. 5,000 shares. So the price went down to $46. It's going back up. Now it's $55. Let's say it gets back up to $2,300 like it was before. Okay, so remember, let's run it back. Let's say you bought it at 84 cents in 2006. Okay. And you bought so much that you were able to get 100 shares of it at 84 cents. You would have spent $84. Follow me here, y'all. Follow me here. In 2006, if you had bought Chipotle at 84 cents, 100 shares, you would have paid 84 measly dollars. And if you held on to that boy until it split last year and it was worth $2,300. Okay. You would have then owned 100 shares at $2,300 a piece. You would have spent $84 and you would have made over $200,000, over $230,000 just before the split. Before the split, you would have spent, listen to me, y'all, $84. And I vividly remember what I was doing in 2006, right? That's why I asked you to remember what you were thinking about. Think about what you were doing. Because if you remember what you're doing, you'll be like, damn, what if I had actually invested in it, right? So 84 cents, you would have owned $230,000. Now, when the stock split 50-1, remember your shares now went from 100 to 5,000. Okay. So you went from owning 100 shares at $2,300 to owning 5,000 shares at, hold on, divided 50. Wait, hold on. 2,300. I'm using my other calculator. 2,300 divided by 50 is 46. Okay. So remember this $230,000 number. Okay. So you go from owning 100 shares at $2,300 to owning 5,000 shares at $46 a piece. Same number, right? So you haven't diluted your shares at all. Now, right now, it's back to $50 or $55 a share. So it's still rising. Okay. Let's say it goes back up to $2,300. Now you've got 5,000 shares, but you ain't put no more money in. Okay. You still, only investment you made was $84 in 2006. Okay. If it goes back up to $2,300, you will now own 5,000 shares at $2,300 a piece. And that's how much money you will have. And you didn't put in any more money. You would have invested $84 to now own $11 million. And you didn't invest an extra dime at all. Where else are you going to get that kind of return? It hasn't even been 20 years. It hasn't even been 20. It's not even drinking age. The stock isn't even drinking age. It's only been 19 years. So in 19 years, where else but the stock market are you going to spend $84 and make $11 million? Unless you rob a bank. And then you got to go to jail and it ain't even worth it. Right? And the bank may not even have $11 million on the day you robbed it. So again, I say all this to illustrate, again, the stock market is the biggest wealth builder. Please don't be focused on, oh, what if I lose my money? What if you made $11 million and you invested $84? Come on. Make it make the fear make sense. It makes no sense. Exactly. Dr. Nicole says $84 to multimillionaire. You're not getting that return nowhere. Nowhere. And think about this. If you have a child, and let's say some of you have children or grandchildren or aunt or cousins or whatever, nephews, nieces, who were born around 2006. If you had known about this, right? Of course, we can't predict the future. We have no idea that Chipotle is going to go up to $2,300. But I'll tell you something. When I was in college, I entered college in year 2000. That's when I started college. Okay. I started college in 2000 and I graduated early. I graduated in 2003. Right. And so I remember vividly being in college. Now, at the time, I didn't know nothing about the stock market. Right. I didn't even know like how to get into the stock market. And back then it was much harder to start investing because you had to have a broker and you had to know who to call and all this other stuff. And it wasn't like it is now, where literally anybody can invest in the stock market with just their phones, right? We didn't have phones. I had a pager at the time, and my mother paid the bill at the time. It was 2000, right? I was 18. So the opportunities that are available to us now were absolutely not available to us back then. Okay. But 2000, I entered college, and Chipotle was building their locations. They were like newish, right? They were building their locations in college towns. And they were going around giving out these little card vouchers, like about this size, right? They're giving these little vouchers with this big foil thing, which was essentially their burrito, but we didn't know what it was at the time. Their burrito wrapped up in foil as a picture, and it said free burrito. And they were just giving out these burritos to all these college students. Now, imagine like it was today, they would have had a ton of social media activity around that, but they didn't. Their goal was just to get all these college students to come and buy their burritos or whatever, and they were giving them away for free. So of course, as broke college students, we like, hell yeah, like we about to go to Chipotle and get our free burrito, which turned us into loyalists, right? And so super smart move on their part. But I had no idea at that time that little rinky-dink shop that was selling these silver wrapped burritos was going to do these numbers. But if I had even thought about it, if I even knew about the stock market at that time, I now invest in companies that I do business with or that I purchase from. So I shop at Target. I'm invested in Target. I shop at Home Depot. So I'm invested in Home Depot, right? But I didn't know anything about it then. But these days, anywhere that I'm a regular at, I'm buying stock in their company. And so that's what I suggest for a lot of you guys to do too. When you are buying from somewhere regular, guess what? You're not the only person buying from them. So consider if that's a company you should invest your money in, not just become a consumer of, because you can become an owner, not just a consumer, right? So if this was today, I would have invested in Chipotle at $84 because I was buying from them all the time anyway. But I didn't know, right? So today I could have had $11 million and would have been sitting pretty nice. But I didn't know, right? And so this is the power of stock splits. Okay. So hopefully now you guys have very clear understanding of how important this stuff is. Regina says, I'm 53. I wish you were around, or I had found you years ago. Well, I'm glad you're here now, Regina. And you took the Fix My Money challenge. So you should be Gucci, Regina. So I'm so glad that you are here. And I'm so happy to see you. She says, I'm finally understanding from you. I'm so glad. And hopefully that's a sentiment for everybody. All right. Raquelia says, insane money. Exactly. That is insane money. Nisi says her daughter was born in 2006. Just think about how less we'd be paying for college if we knew this then. Girl, that's a great point. Tracy says, wow, I wish I would have had some luck like that with stocks like now. I know. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, listen to me. I'm going to tell you some other stocks that are primed to split. Please write these down. Like I said, put it in your phone as a note. Maybe make a reminder to yourself that, hey, maybe I should look at these, every, week or so just to see if the stock split is happening. Because again, they don't announce this stuff well ahead of time. You don't have 6 months to prepare and get your money up. So those of you who I'm always telling, those of you who have taken the Repair Your Hair Challenge, Repair Your Hair Challenge. Those of you who have taken the Fix My Money Challenge, those of you who are currently taking the Fix My Money Challenge and have previously taken it, and those of you who watch this channel, okay? I'm always telling you, you got to get out of debt. Because here's the thing. If you are paying, let's say the average household in America is paying about $700 to $900 a month in credit card bills or revolving debt bills. That could include your car, right? You're paying around on average, right? Some people pay less, some pay more, but on average, $700 to $900 a month to somebody else. And like I tell you guys in the Fix My Money Challenge and My Rich Friends and all that, every time you're paying interest to someone else, or you're paying a credit card bill to someone else, you are paying someone else's passive income that they are using to invest in companies like Chipotle and make $11 million 19 years later. But you can't do that because all your money is tied up in paying somebody else's debt. Because normal people, we're told that it's normal to have debt. Yes, this will be on replay, Michelle, for sure. It's normal to have debt. But if you watch this channel, what are you? You're not here to be normal. I ain't waking up every day to be normal. I'm waking up to be extraordinary. And if you want to have extraordinary results, like I just showed you, was a very reasonable some math that we just did with the Chipotle example. Those are real world numbers. Those actually happen. Somebody invested $84. Some people invested $84 in Chipotle in 2006, and they have $11 million today or more. Right? Some people did that. There's no reason why you can't do it as well. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Nicole. She says 125 of us in this room, but only 65 likes. Let's get these likes up and get the video in the algorithm. Thank you so much, Dr. Nicole. Yes, you guys get these likes up. Press the like button for me. It's a lot of y'all here. So if every single person hits the like button, again, it's free. The algorithm it's going to spread the word. Okay. All right. Raquel says, let's get to it. What is the plan? All right. Let's get to the plan. All right. So write these things down. So the first one we're going to talk about. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me get back to the debt thing. Just let me drill this point in and then we'll get into it. The point is that if you have debt, you are spending money on somebody else that you can't invest yourself, right? That money that you're giving, that $700 that you might be giving to Amex, Capital One, Chase, Manhattan, Bank of America, whomever, right? Your car loan, whomever, right? That money you're giving them is not able to be invested for you. So just imagine if you were able to take that, let's say $800 a month, and instead of giving it to the credit card companies, you're giving it to yourself. So instead of $800 a month, you've now got $9,600 a year. In 1 year, you didn't spend any more money. You didn't go get a second job. You didn't rob Peter to pay Paul. You just stopped spending money on things that you can't afford right now. So that because now you don't have any debt, that money, you can now take it and invest it in yourself. And Lord knows my calculator might break if I did the math on how much $9,600 worth of Chipotle in 2005 might have been today, or 2006 might have been today. I have no clue. Right? I'm it could be who knows how much, right? Like at 84 cents a piece, if you had that amount of money divided by 84 cents, you would have been able to buy 11,400 shares of Chipotle. And if that number ran back and then it splits and you own times 50, you would then own 571,000 shares of Chipotle. And this is just money that you was paying somebody else. Because guess what? They're doing exactly what I'm telling you to do. But you can't do it because you got the debt. Get out of debt, right? Public enemy number one is debt. I promise you. Get rid of it because it prevents you from doing everything else to build your wealth. Okay? They want you to stay in debt. And one of the companies we're going to talk about today is the company that's making sure you stay in debt. So we're going to talk about them because I think they're going to split. Okay? All right. Over on Instagram, A.H. Elliott says, I'm just getting started. I use Robinhood to buy. That's perfect. Robinhood's great. I love Robinhood. I have Robinhood too. All right. So the first stock that we are going to talk about, y'all, write this down, is, I'm going to save the big one for last. Okay. The first one we're going to talk about is Tesla. All right. Let's look at Tesla. All right. I'm going to share my screen with you guys. So write down Tesla. Ticker symbol is TSLA. TSLA. If you haven't liked this video, please like this video. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please hit the subscribe button. Whether you're a newbie or you're brand new to the channel, or if you've been here for a while, just hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. I appreciate you so very much. Help me get this out to as many people as possible, because we don't need anybody else not getting to the bag. All right, let me share my screen. All right, we're going to look at let's say Tesla, right? All right, so Tesla's the first company we're going to look at. This is a website called Seeking Alpha. Hey, Sunny B, you just got here. It's okay. I'm glad to have you. Thanks for joining. All right, so Tesla is here. This is the 1 year view. We're going to look at the last 5 and 10 years. Okay, so as we can see, Tesla is currently trading at $418. Let's look at what it was doing when it came onto the market, Tesla came onto the market. When did it come onto the market? It was, let's see, let's go to Max. Looks like they came onto the market in 2010, and they were trading at $1.31, $1.42 in 2010. And here's why it's so important to not freak out. Look at these numbers. It was pretty steady. Tesla didn't really move a whole lot. We in 2014, 2016, 2019, right? That's when it starts to rise. So here, this is 2013. So for 3 years, from 2010 to 2013, it's pretty much pennies to buy. Once we start hitting 2014, it starts to do a little bit better. We're at $12. We get up into 2018, we're in the 20s. But boom, we hit 2020 and it goes up to $43. It doubles in 2020. Then it goes up, it goes up. Prime example of the stock market goes down, but it always rebounds. Boom, 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 boom in 2022. And now we back up to $400 and some a share. Okay. So at $418 a share, Tesla is pretty expensive, right? Correct, LaShawn. That's not including the reinvested dividends. That's a good point, right? Tesla is pretty expensive to buy. Now, every time I do one of these videos, I'm always doing a ton of research. I'm a research girl. Like I like to come correct or not at all. Okay. Tesla is primed to split. Now, again, we can't predict the future, but I will say that last year, analysts were predicting that Chipotle, FICO, and NVIDIA were going to split. And 2 of them split. Chipotle and NVIDIA split. Okay. So it's a pretty good assumption that, or you're doing pretty well. If 2 of the 3 split, it's a pretty good assumption that they're going to split more. And just like Jock's Journey said, she's so right. Tesla is going to explode in these next 4 years. It already exploded recently. Just look at this. And I own Tesla, so hopefully you own Tesla too, or have some of it. It went from, just in September, it was $230 in September. And now it's $418. It's almost $200 more per share in 4 months. September, October, November, December, January, 4 months. It's almost $200 per more, more. And, whether, let's not, we don't got to talk about politics right now, but we know Elon Musk and Trump, they homies, right? And like, they're real close. And Musk is what? He's one of the cabinet members or something like that, right? So that they in bed together. I can guarantee you they're going to make sure Tesla does well. And I wouldn't be surprised if SpaceX comes on the stock market as well eventually. It ain't on the stock market right now. You can't buy it on the stock market, but I wouldn't be surprised if SpaceX shows up on the stock market. Michelle says, can I share this chat? I don't know if you can share the chat, but you can share the video for sure. There's a share button at the bottom of around the bottom of the video player. And you can press share, and then whoever you want to share it with will be able to participate in the chat and in the video as well. So thanks for asking. Okay. So like I said, if we just look at the news, right? We can be mad all day. Those of us who are like, anti-Trump, pro-Trump, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Let's get to the money. Like, get your emotions out of it. The beautiful thing about the stock market is that it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't discriminate on age, race, gender, creed, religion. If your money is in there, you're going to make money, period. Doesn't matter what you look like. There's no glass ceiling for the stock market. Okay. So get in where you fit in. This one is more than likely going to split because the price is just going to explode and people are not going to be able to invest in it. Right. It's already really high. If y'all picking up what I'm putting down, give me a 1 in the comments. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, give me a 1 in the comments. Okay. It's probably going to split. It's $418 now. It was $200 less 4 months ago. And even over here in 2023, it was $133. So that is what, $300 less just 2 years ago. Okay. So this is going crazy. And I would highly advise that you take a look at this. Now, I don't know what the split is going to be. It might be 3-1. It might be 2-1. It might be 10-1. Who knows? But obviously, the more it splits, the more advantageous the cost is. All right. Hey, Sunny B and AH Elliott are following what I'm saying. Sunny B says, are you also on YouTube Live? Yes, I'm on YouTube Live as well. Come on over to YouTube, Sunny. Come on over to YouTube. It's way more fun over here. It's more people over here. It's more activity. It's just a lot of fun over here. So come over to YouTube. I can share my screen as well on YouTube. I can't share it on Instagram. So come on over to YouTube. Just search for The Get Money Show. The Get Money Show on YouTube, and you'll find me. Okay? All right. And you'll be able to participate in the chat and all the stuff. And I can share my screen. You can see exactly what I'm showing everybody else, because this stuff is really, really important. Okay? I see a bunch of ones in the comments over here on YouTube. So y'all are following me. Okay? Here's the thing with Tesla. Again, we have to think about, when you're buying a stock, you don't only just want to be like, oh, it seems like it's doing good, or everybody's talking about it, maybe I should buy it. By the time everybody's talking about it, the price is already going up because everybody's talking about it. Okay. You want to buy it when it's lower. Okay. That's why I'm telling you now, write Tesla down, because there's a very good chance it's going to split this year. And you don't want to be finding out about it 10 days, 20 days, 2 months after the split. You want to be in on the split when it happens. Now, of course, if it splits, I'll come on here and tell y'all, hey, the split's about to happen. But in case you missed the notification that I'm going live, I don't want you to miss the boat. Okay, so write it down so that you have it. Dr. Nicole says she bought Tesla in 2023 at $200. That was shortly after it split then. So it split back then, and she bought it at that time. So if it split at that time, then it was probably higher around this price now. So it's probably going to split again. I'm thinking it's going to split again. Analysts are saying it's going to split again. So just be on the lookout. Okay. Now, if you already own shares of Tesla, this is going to be great for you as well, because if you own shares of Tesla now, whatever the split is, you're going to either double, triple, quadruple, or 10x, or whatever they split it by, your number of shares. Okay. So if you are, hey, Sunny, you joined us over here on YouTube. Glad to see you. She came from Instagram. She's over on YouTube now. Now, if you don't own shares of Tesla and you want to get in now so that you own more when or if it splits, you still can do that. You can buy what's called fractional shares. All right. So fractional shares are basically you buying a fraction of a share. So you can buy, if you, instead of buying one share, you could buy, half a share. You could buy a third of a share. You could buy 1/10 of a share. You can buy whatever you can afford. If all you got is $20 and you want to invest in Tesla, you still can. You just buy a fractional share. So let's say you bought a half a share and it split 2-to-1. When it splits, you would now own a whole share, right? Basically that's how it works. But obviously you want to buy as much as you can. But if $418 per share is cost prohibitive, that's cool. Just buy fractions. Because when it splits, or if it does split, you're going to own more. And even if it never split, you want to own some Tesla. I'm telling you. They're predicting, and I can see this going up into the thousands per share, especially during this administration. You don't want to be left behind. Denise says, so we buy in when it splits. You can buy in when it splits. You can buy in if it doesn't split. You can buy in now. You can buy in later. But it will cost less per share when it splits. Yes. Ellie is here as well from Instagram. I'm so glad y'all are here. Those of you who are new, and even if you haven't yet, click the subscribe button here on Instagram. Click the subscribe button for me and hit that like button. How many likes we up to now, y'all? Somebody let me know how many likes we got so far. All right. Lysandra says, how many times can they split? They can split by as many times as they want. So like I said, Chipotle split 50-to-1, which was a very unusual amount of splitting. Like they don't normally split that much. But Chipotle was so doggone high that they was like, we got to split significantly. So they split down 50. But usually it's 2-to-1, 3-to-1, sometimes 10-to-1. That's generally what it is. 2-to-1, 3-to-1, or sometimes 10-to-1. We got 100 likes. Yay! Jasmine said 99. Elliot said 97. So the numbers must be coming in as y'all are typing in. Y'all keep liking. Yay, I'm so happy. Keep hitting the like button if you haven't, because there's 135 people here right now. I mean, 35 of y'all ain't pressed the like button. So keep hitting the like button. The more likes that we get, I'm so glad we got 100, right? The more likes we get, the more the algorithm will bring people over here. Okay. Don't be a gatekeeper. Let everybody get to the bag. No problem, Janelle. Janelle, I'm so proud of you. She said she was opening her Fidelity account. That's why she was late coming in. Girl, if you was opening your Fidelity account and that's why you're late, you have an excused absence. I am so proud of you. Good for you. Okay. Janelle is currently taking the Fix My Money challenge, and that's their homework for today, is opening their Fidelity account. So good for you. Good for you. All right. Thank you guys for getting those likes up to 100. Let's keep it going. All right. So number 1 is Tesla. Write Tesla down. Ticker symbol is TSLA. TSLA. All right. 107. Yep. Keep it going, y'all. Keep it going. Run them numbers up. Run them numbers up. It's free. It takes like half a second to do. So if you haven't done it, please press the like button. And again, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because I do this stuff every single week and I know you don't want to miss it. All right. All right. So the second one that we're going to talk about today is, oh, wait, one thing I want to show you about Tesla as well. If you're on this website, which is seekingalpha.com, okay, you can see the URL. You guys can use the same website on your own, seekingalpha.com. You can hover over any of these periods of time, and it'll tell you how much it has increased within that period of time. So we can see within today, Tesla's actually down 1.2%. Just today, it's down 1.3% in the past 5 days. It's down 2.3% or whatever in the past month. But when we hit 6 months, that's when we start seeing growth. So when you all are looking at stock charts, it's important that you do not focus on the 1 day, 1 day, 5 day, 1 month, 6 months, or even 1 year growth. You really should be looking at the 5 and 10 years, because again, we're buying and holding here. We are not doing options, which is, selling within a very short period of time. We're doing buy and holds. So generally, you're going to buy and hold much longer than a year, definitely longer than a day or 6 months, right? So, in the stock market, it moves up and down throughout the day. So this says it's down right now by 1.3%. It was down by 1.2 a second ago. Now it's down by 1.13. So it's actually up a little bit, right? So this is not a good representation of how the stock market moves. It's because it's going to move up and down every day. Look at the 5-year and the 10-year. Okay. So we can see in 5 years, Tesla has grown over 1,000%. And in the past 10 years, it's grown over 3,000%. Right. And since Tesla came onto the market, which is what Max is, it's grown 32,000%. So again, when we're looking at stocks and we're considering investing, right, we want to look at the historical data of the company. We want to see how much it has grown over time. And we want to look at the 5, 10, and max returns. Okay, that's really how, when you're quickly looking at stock chart, those are numbers that you want to be able to look at. Okay. Okay. All right. Sunny says, I was late filing. Oh, late filing. And one broker said I couldn't buy stock. Filing for what? For your taxes? What do you mean by late filing? Because there's no filing involved for stock brokerages. I'm not sure what you mean. Explain to me what you mean in the comments, and I'll be happy to help you. Okay. Dr. Nicole also asked you who's your brokerage with, so she can maybe respond as well. Okay. All right. So let's get into number 2 while we're waiting for Sunny to respond. Number 2 is going to be, let me pull it up for y'all. Netflix. Let's look at Netflix. I don't need to explain to y'all what Netflix do. Y'all know what Netflix does, right? But Netflix is trading at almost $1,000 a share. As you can imagine, who's buying $1,000 a share? The average person is not. Now, you have far more average people, which is generally you and I, right? Than you do people who are extremely rich, right? So the thing is, yes, they can get a bunch of rich people to buy in at $1,000 a share, but it will behoove them to have those rich people plus all the non-rich people, middle class, poor, whatever, right? Upper middle class, so forth and so on, be able to buy from them as well. Because again, remember when we talked about why companies go in the stock market in the first place, their job is to get as many people to buy as possible. Yes, Lachelle, this is being recorded and you can definitely watch it when you get off work. Yep, for sure. Okay. All right. So $1,000 share is just cost prohibitive. So write down ticker symbol FLLX. I mean, NFLX. NFLX is Netflix ticker symbol. Okay. They're trading at $955 a share right now. And let's look at the return. So in the past 5 years, Netflix's return is 192, almost 193%. In the past 10 years, we're looking at 1,400%. And since Netflix started in the stock market, it's 78,000%. Remember when Netflix wasn't streaming? Remember they just had those DVDs and they were selling them, not selling them, but you could rent them. And then they ended up streaming, and that's that, right? That's all she wrote. Basically, after that, Netflix became the behemoth that it is today. Did y'all see that number change? Did you see it was 9:55 a minute ago and now it's 9:56? So again, that's why I say, like, looking at the stock market numbers, like day to day, it's like watching water boil. It's like it's a waste of time. Like, just look at it from a larger lens. 5 to 10 years is best if that company has been on the stock market that long. Okay. All right. Sunny says, I have a couple brokerages, but I tried Robinhood. I couldn't buy Bitcoin due to taxes, but maybe that was for Bitcoin. I'll try again later. I don't know about the tax thing, because Robinhood shouldn't even be asking you about your taxes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Nicole, Redbox. Yes. It's still a Redbox near me. I'm like, who is keeping Redbox in business? Who's going to the store at a grocery store, buying a DVD, taking it home, watching it, and taking it? Who's doing that? Like, I really feel like Redbox is like funded by the mafia or something, because like, what? Like, how in the world do you exist? But nevertheless, Netflix is a behemoth, right? So $956 is what they're trading at right now. Make sure that you write this down. They are also predicted to split as well. And you can see they've had like a massive amount of growth just in the past 2 years. So they were down to 175. Wow. They were at 175 in June of 2022. This is 2.5 years later, January 2023 or 2025. And we're at almost $1,000. So if you had got in on the dip, and it dipped a lot. This was 2020. Let's see, around the pandemic. Let's see what it did. Pandemic time, it was up to 400 and something. Then it peaked at 678 in 2021. For some reason, something happened and it dipped down to 175. Oh, if you had got in on that dip, if I had got in on that dip, right? It was 175. Where was it at? Let's see. I can't find it. 175.51. And now it's 956. 175.51. Let's see. 956 divided by 175. So it's 5.4 times greater. So even if you had invested $10,000 at the dip 2.5 years ago, today you will have $54,000. That was 2.5 years ago. Oh, okay. Sherry said Netflix had bad earnings during that dip. Okay. That makes sense. So, yeah. Like, in just 2.5 years, you would have made 5 times your money. 5 times your money. Woo! 5 times your money. In 2.5 years. And so, again, at this point, it's very hard for them to get a lot of buyers in. So they're more than likely going to split this year. I don't know if they've ever had a split. Tesla has had a split before, but Netflix hasn't. So they're even more likely to split. So definitely keep this one on your radar. This one is probably going to split as well, and you want to get in. Just imagine if they do because it's almost $1,000, they're probably going to do more than 2 to 1. It might be like a 10 to 1. So if they do a 10 to 1 split and they're at, let's say, $956 right now, that means if they do 10 to 1, they'll then be $95 a split. If they were to split today, they would be at $95 a share. And I'm telling you, get your money up, because when that split happens and they split, that number's I mean, who's stopping Netflix? Like, they're gonna run right back up. They're gonna run right back up, and it's probably gonna go beyond wherever they're gonna be at when they split. And you're gonna wish drastically that you had invested when it was in the dip. Okay. So let's just, for kicks and giggles, let's see where it started. So Netflix came on the stock market in 2002 at 99 cents, child. 99 cents a share in 2002. And it is about $1,000 a share now. That just make you sick, right? Like, dang, I could have got in. How much could you have bought? If you had bought 100 shares at 99 cents a piece, you would have basically had 100. You would have basically owned 100 shares, right? 100. You spent $100 to own 100 shares at that time. And if you own that same 100 shares now, you will have $95,000 if you were able to get in at that time and only spent $100. But if you had spent $500, even more, right? So bottom line is make sure that I know Tracy said, oh my God, I'm sick. I know, girl. Again, think about what was you doing in 2002? I was in college in 2002. I was in college and I was a year from graduating. So again, like most of us were adults at this time, right? Like very few of us were like kids and we didn't have this opportunity, right? But now we know, like when you know better, you do better, right? Tracy said, but I knew nothing about stocks and it wasn't as easy at that time as it is now. You're absolutely correct. Most of us knew nothing. And it's so easy now, whereas before it wasn't. Now I'm going to tell you about one more stock that I believe is going to split. Miriam says, what will be the split on Netflix? I have no idea. I don't have a way of predicting that. I don't have a way of predicting what it's going to be. I'm only assuming that because it is so high, like right now it's almost $1,000. You know, within a couple weeks or months, it's going to be over $1,000 if everything continues to go well. And I don't know what the split's going to be, but generally when they're over like $1,000, they tend to split by a lot. So it might split 10-1. It might split 8-1. Who knows? Who knows what it's going to be? But I don't see it splitting 4-1, or I don't see it splitting 2-1. Because if it's split 2-1, it's only going to cut it in half, and it's going to be still over $500 a share. I'm sorry, if it's higher, right? It's going to be around over $500 a share, and that's still cost prohibitive. So I think it's going to split maybe 10-1, maybe 8-1, or something like that. It might even do what Chipotle did, which is 50-1, and that would be crazy. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. So we don't know what it's going to split by, but we're predicting that it's going to split. So write this one down. Nicole says, in 2002, that could have been the best 99 cents / $100 I ever spent. I know, right? I'm pretty sure I had $100 back then. Even though I was a broke college student, I could have found $100 from somewhere. Regina says she was an adult that was getting out quick when I saw it fall because I didn't have this knowledge. But now that you know better, you do better, right? Angela Foy says, what is the name of the website you're on? It's called Seeking Alpha. Seeking Alpha. This is the website right here. I'll put it in the chat so you guys can use it to do your own research. This is the same website I use a lot on this channel. Elliot says, when you say split, what do you mean? Oh, Elliot, you missed the whole first part. You might have to watch the replay because I spent like 30 minutes explaining what a split was and how it works. But in short, like the Cliff Notes version of it is, Elliot, and for anybody who's just joining, a stock price will split in half or by 10 or whatever. So if you own 100 shares and the stock splits, I'm sorry, let me phrase that. If the stock is trading at $1,000 and it splits 2-1, that means it's going to split for every 2 shares that somebody owns. For every 1 share somebody owns, they will now own 2 shares. So that means if you own 0 shares and the stock is $1,000 and it splits 2-1, so 2-1 is it's splitting in half, you will now pay $500 a share, right? So for smaller numbers, if it's $1,000, it's $100 a share. You're good, Elliot. If it's $100 a share, it splits in half, you will now pay $50 a share. However, on the flip side, if you already own 100 shares and it splits in half, remember, for every 1 share that you own, you will now own 2. So you go from owning 100 shares to now owning 200 shares without investing any more money. That's the Cliff Notes version of it. I gave some examples and stuff earlier, but basically that's what it is. So it's advantageous to know when a stock splits because at this price that Netflix is, it's cost prohibitive for most people to invest. However, if the stock splits and it splits by, let's say 10-1, that means it's going to split. The price is going to go down 10 times. So if it's $954 today, it'll go down to $95.49, right? That's how it works. So it makes it easier for the average consumer to be able to make the purchase, basically. And at that point, you can run it up, right? Like you can buy a lot more. Let's say you have $1,000. Would you rather have one share at $1,000 or 10 shares at $100? Right? So it's the same dollar amount, but you own more of the company. Basically, that's how it works. Regina says, if we're keeping an eye out, what's the best place to look to see if it's getting ready to split? Google. You can actually turn on Google Alerts. So Google has a service called Google Alerts. You can turn that on. You simply just go to Google. Hold on, I'll show you how to do it. That's a great question, Regina, actually. So let me share my screen real quick with y'all so you can turn these on for yourself. If you haven't liked this video, please like it. Please press the like button. I appreciate you so much. Okay, let's share the screen. Okay, so you simply go to Google, type in Google Alerts, and then you press this, and then once you press it, it'll take you through some prompts, and you can type in Netflix. You can type in NFLX, which is the ticker symbol. Same thing for the other one I told you about, and then the next one I'm going to tell you. So that way, Google will send you regular reminders, and you don't have to constantly be like looking it up. You can even type in like Netflix stock or Tesla stock, TSLA stock, right? You can have any one of those or any amount of those in your Google Alerts, and it's totally free. So that's a good way for you to be able to know what's coming up. Yep, you're welcome. All right. Tracy, so does that mean it doesn't matter if you buy when it's up or down? Either way, it goes, you'll make out or not? I mean, yes, kind of. I mean, it does matter if you buy when it's up or down, right? Because you want to buy when the stock is low, right? So it also depends on your income level, right? So Tracy, if you've got, let's say you want to buy 20 shares, right? If you got 20 shares times $1,000, you got $20,000. Awesome, right? But if you want to buy 20 shares at $95, now you're only spending $1,900, right? So most people don't have $20,000 in that example for that. So that's why most people are looking and hopeful for the splits. But in general, when the math happens, right? If your money is going to be the same regardless, it's actually better for you to buy before the split, because when the split happens, you'll own more shares. Right? But if you don't have the money like that, then you will benefit from the split after the split happens because the price will be cheaper. You're welcome, Regina. King Wish says, I'm just getting on. I love how you're breaking it down. I will be getting some Netflix. Yes, you are welcome. You are welcome, sir. Salute to you. I'm so glad that you are here. Miriam says, what do I think about CHPT? Isn't that ChargePoint? I think ChargePoint, I just sold my ChargePoint today, actually. I sold all of it, honestly. I had about 80 shares of ChargePoint, and I sold it all because it is like what's ChargePoint doing? Like, those of you, let me answer Miriam's question. So ChargePoint is basically a charging station company for like EV cars, right? So like Tesla cars, you got to charge them up. ChargePoint is one of them. And ChargePoint was doing really well. It was like 23 some dollars, $25. I think it may have even gone up to like 30 some dollars. And then now it's like $1. And it's been going down. And I'm like, okay, it's been hovering around like $2 for a while. Now it's at $1. And I'm like, I don't see any news about it like coming back, and it's been down for a while. And so I'm just like, I can use this money to like buy something else that is going to get greater returns. Like I can use that money to invest in Nvidia or Palantir or something. I do think that with like Tesla going up during this administration, I do think that like companies that are connected to electric vehicles might do better. But I'm gonna need to see a little bit of movement before I get back in bed with them, because I'm like, This money's just sitting here. And honestly, every dollar that's not moving is a dollar that's being wasted. So I'm like, let me put this into something else that's going to make some more money for me. So that's what I did. I actually just sold all my shares like 2 hours ago. Like I just did that today, actually. Janelle says she was thinking about selling too. Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. Hopefully I don't regret it. But that's what I did. Sharon says, just throwing this out there, is there an instance where you would actually see gains in your investment if it was a reverse split? Is this a question for another time? So reverse splits do happen. But I'll say this. If you currently own shares of any company, you don't lose money in a split. So regardless if it's a reverse split or a normal split. So a reverse split, for those of you who don't know, like I said, a 2-to-1 split. So a reverse split could be like 1-to-2. That means that the company is buying back some of their shares, right? You as a current stockholder of that company, you won't lose any money in a current or reverse split. You'll actually make money because they're essentially asked you to buy some of their shares back. So you'll still make money, right? So if it's a reverse split, you could see gains, but the bottom line to know for sure is that you don't lose anything. That's important to know. You could see a gain, depending on, but only, let me say this, Sharon, you will only see a gain if they buy back some of their shares and then the stock price goes up. But that's the same thing in a regular split too, right? If it's a 2-to-1 as opposed to a 1-to-2, I'm trying not to confuse anybody, right? You would still you have the same dollar amount, and you will only see a gain if the number rises, if the stock price rises. So either way, you're going to be in the same position regardless if you already own shares. Now, if you don't own shares and you're trying to buy in, you should never buy at a reverse split because you will lose money. So don't buy a reverse split. Only buy when the first number is smaller than the second number. Basically, that's what you need to know. The first number is bigger than the second number. So 2-to-1, 3-to-1, 10-to-1, 100-to-1, 50-to-1, or what have you. Don't ever buy brand new when it's the other way around. So hopefully that answers your question, Sharon. All right, let's get into the third stock that we're gonna talk about. Dr. Nicole said the same thing is happening with Blink. She's watching and waiting. They are EV charging company as well. Yeah. I saw them today. I didn't own any shares of them, but I did see them today when I was researching ChargePoint to figure out like what in the world is going on with ChargePoint. I saw Blink on there too, and I'm like, I'm gonna put my money in something else. All right, the last one that I want to tell you guys about, and the reason I saved this one for last is because this is the biggest one right now, and it's most likely going to split. They predicted it split last year. It didn't split, so it's probably going to split this year. It hasn't split before. And this one is one that most of us are paying into and don't even realize it. All right. So most of you are consumers of this company or a company that it does business with, and you don't realize it. All right. So let me go ahead and share my screen again. Go ahead and like this video for me if you haven't done already, and subscribe to my channel, please. Subscribe to my channel. All right. Let me share the screen and we'll get into it. All right. The last one is Fair Isaac, which is FICO. Oh, that's the wrong screen. I didn't want to share that one. Hold on. Shared the wrong screen. All right. So it's FICO. FICO. So your FICO score. Did you know that they were on the stock market? Listen to me when I tell y'all this, okay? Please hear me and hear me extremely well. If you don't hear nothing else I said the whole show, okay? Your FICO score. This is a business, okay? It is in their best interest, no pun intended, for you to have bad credit. They are a for-profit company, as you can see, because they are on the stock market. And they are so profitable that they are selling at almost $2,000 a share right now. So again, as I said earlier, every time you're charging stuff on your credit card and you're selling it, and not selling it, but you're paying interest or whatever, you are fueling someone else's passive income, and you are adding money to this company that's actually plotting against you. They don't want you to benefit from having zero debt. Why do you think that? You may not know this, but I know this because my major was in marketing and I did marketing for Ford for years before I started my own company. And even with my own company, I do marketing. So I'm very like hypersensitive to marketing, right? And when I see it, and I tend to recognize it more than maybe the average person just because I worked in it for so long, right? You may not know this, but credit card companies and credit bureaus, they are the largest spender of advertising in America. They spend more than the NFL. They spend more than car companies. They spend more than food companies and food businesses. They spend more than everybody else. Why? Because it is in their best interest for your credit to not be good. Because the lower your credit score is and the more debt you have, the higher they can charge you in interest, right? In interest rates. We know that. But they also, the lower your debt is, the higher your debt is, and the lower your credit score, the more they can charge you in interest, and therefore they can make more money because they are charging you more interest. Yes, you didn't know you could invest in FICO, right? That is a damn shame, Rhonda. You said it 100% correct. You said it. You got it. You summarized it perfectly. That's a damn shame. Lysandra says, like, what? I didn't even think about investing in FICO. Yes. So when I'm constantly preaching to you all, like, get out of debt, because these people who own this, who are doing Fair Isaac and FICO, they are the ones that are benefiting from your interest, because not only is it their passive income, but their stock price also goes up. And they own shares of the company. If you work for FICO and you're a high ranking official, you definitely have stock options in there, right? Definitely have stock options. So hear me well when I tell you, debt is public enemy number one. It is not your friend. The FICO score, I shared this last week. My FICO score, I don't even care about it no more because I'm not buying nothing in credit. No way. I own my house. I have I did have a credit score for that or whatever, but I bought that years and years ago. But I don't buy cars on credit. I don't have a car note, and I will not buy anything else on credit because, as I shared last week, they don't want you to have a good score. My credit score, this was 2 years ago. I think I shared with you guys. In my house, I replaced all the floors in my house. Okay, so the house was built in 1979. It looked like at the time when I bought it, it was built in 1979. So I did a lot of work in here to like get it to what it looks like now, right? So I replaced all the floors, right? So from top to bottom, 3-story house, right? Cost me $20,000 to do the floors, right? I bought it with, you do like same as cash for like a year. I bought it, waited until I could stack my money up totally so I could pay it fully in cash, right? The day before the interest was supposed to start, I paid it off. And do you know what happened? I paid off $20,000 that was on my credit report. And when I paid it off, my score dropped 84 points because I paid off the bill. I didn't owe any interest on the bill. They were banking on that interest on that $20,000 bill. But I paid it off beforehand and my score dropped 84 points after I paid off the bill in full before the interest hit. It is not in their best interest for you to do things like that, right? And so many people are like so worried and focused about like their credit score. They're plotting against you. They really are. As we can see here, they're not at $2,000. They're more than Netflix. They're more than Tesla. They're more than Microsoft. They're more than the top 10 companies in the S&P 500, except for themselves. Right? They're trading at $2,000 basically per share. This one is more than likely going to split. And so if you are someone who really wants to get in on a split, really look for this one. So look at FICO. So put FICO in your phone or your Post-it note or whatever. Write down FICO, FICO. Not only is the name of your score, but it's the freaking ticker symbol. It's the ticker symbol on the doggone stock market. They don't want you to win. Okay. Regina, I got you. I actually have a really great video on my YouTube channel for the top 3 money books that I recommend. Like there's a lot of books on money and really you don't need to read them all. I'll find the video and I'll post it here for you. Because some books are just full of fluff and some of them just get right to it. And you want to get right to it. So I'm going to find that video and I'll post the link in here for you so that you can you or anybody else can check that video out. Okay. Let's see if I can find it. But again, at 2,000 shares, $2,000 per share, basically, that one is more than likely going to split pretty high. It's probably going to split pretty high. And so when it does, the analysts were predicting again last year it was going to split. They're predicting this year going to split. And here's the play, really. If you, regardless of if you think that you should, have debt or not, right? Regardless of all that, why not benefit from the company that you are paying into anyway? Like I said earlier, remember I said, think about companies that you spend money on. Think about companies that you are frequenting. And you didn't think that you were frequenting a company like FICO, right? But you are. And listen, FICO literally stands for Fair Isaac Corporation. It's literally an acronym for the name of the company, right? So your FICO score is your Fair Isaac Corporation score, right? So if you're spending money at Target and Target's doing well, you should consider investing in Target. If you're spending money at Chipotle and it's doing well, you should consider investing in Chipotle. If you're spending money at Home Depot, same thing, right? Anywhere that you're regularly spending money. If you have kids and they play video games, consider investing in EA Sports if you research and see that's a good thing to invest in, right? Same thing here. You're putting your money into this company, whether you want to or not, whether you realize it or not, but you are. If you have a mortgage, if you have a car note, if you have a credit card debt, if you have a student loan, it's all on your FICO score. They're all paying Fair Isaac Corporation, right? So the vast majority, 99.99999% of people in America are going to be paying something into FICO, whether they want to or not. So why not invest in it? Why not make some money on the people that's making money on you? Right? The rich guy shouldn't have all the fun. Like you can have fun too, right? So this one's probably going to split. I think it's going to split more than 10. I think it may split 20 because it's so high. It is so expensive. So expensive. Even at its high, it was $2,300, almost $2,400 in November of just last year. So there's a very good chance. And now it's, it's down a little bit. It went back up here. Now it went back down. So, but either way, it's still up. Over the past year, it's up 46%. Over the past 5 years, it's up 359%. And over the past 10 years, it's up 2,500%. What I want you to also take a look at is the trajectory of how this has moved. This stuff is really interesting and fascinating to me. So let's look at the max. It's up 30,000% since inception. And Fair Isaac came on the market in 1995. And it was $6.30. Now, I was just having a conversation with my friend the other day. And we were talking about how, Regina, I posted that link in the comments for you. So hopefully you saw it. She said, I'm still not getting all your videos on Facebook when to remove them. Probably in February after I finish the current Fix My Money Challenge, Regina. We're probably going to move over to school after I finish with that. So good question though. Okay. Dr. Nicole says, we don't buy penny chips. We only buy blue chips over bullshit. Absolutely. 100%. 100%. Somebody asked my thoughts about Spirit and I will address that in just a minute. I did see Dr. Nicole responded that I bought it for 13 cents earlier last year, which I 100% did. Angela Foy, she wants to know about the Fix My Money Challenge. I'll post a link in the comments for you. It's just fixmymoneychallenge.com. We're currently in the midst of a challenge, but you can get in on the next one if you'd like to. That's what a lot of people did last time. They paid into it and then they just they basically got in on this current challenge. So if you would like to get in on the current challenge, you can do that as well. All right. Okay. So here's the thing. I want you to look at this. Okay. So in 97, this was trading at $6.30 or 95. That's when this came onto the market. And my friend and I were just talking about credit usage a little bit ago. And I was telling him, like, I remember when I worked at McDonald's when I was a teenager. And this was like the 90s. So it's probably like 97, 98-ish around there. I think maybe in like 90, 99, between 97 and 99. And let's see how much it was trading around that time. So around $10 a share at that point, right? And I remember telling him when I worked at McDonald's, I remember when McDonald's started taking credit cards, because prior to that, they didn't take credit cards. I sound so old saying that, right? They didn't take credit cards prior to that. And so in the 90s, so like the mid to late 90s, is when McDonald's started taking credit cards. And I remember how much more sales we were making and how excited because our McDonald's it wasn't corporate owned, it was a franchise. And so the franchise owner was oftentimes in our McDonald's. And he was so excited. It was him and his brother. And the company, their last name was Carroll. It was called like Carroll Co. That was the name of their like franchise company. And they were so excited. They were in there every day. We didn't see them that much before then. But after that, they were in there all the time because their sales went from whatever they normally were. They were doing 7 times that number in a day just because people were now using credit cards when McDonald's started taking credit cards, right? And I started to think about that. And I was like, well, that's really interesting because if you look at around 1997 to 99, we can see the score, the price of this went up. But now we go into 2000, the number is steadily rising. It's still kind of low, but it's still rising. And over time, you can see it really starts to pop off in 2016. What happens in 2016 to 2017? That's when companies start spending, the FICO company, credit card companies start spending an exponential amount of money on advertising. So the advertising is correlated with their efforts to get more people to take on more debt, is correlated with their stock price rising, right? So remember I told you I used to work at Ford, I was in marketing, so I knew all these things, right? And when they started spending more money, when those reports came out that they were spending more money than everybody else, this is when the stock price starts rising. So look at this. People are spending more money because they're getting advertised to. They're like, yeah, just put this on credit. Just put this on credit. So much so that in the past 10 years, from 2015, when it was still under $100, to 2020, it went up to $263 a share. And now it's at $1,800 a share. So they're literally advertising for you to spend more money, get into more debt so their stock price can rise. So if you're already in debt, you might as well buy some shares when it splits because you might as well get in on making money on the people who are already making money on you. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me a make sense in the comment. If that makes sense, give me a make sense. What's up, Tommy Develops? How you doing? What's going on? Thanks for joining. Let me know if that makes sense in the comments. Tracy says, the Fix My Money Challenge is very helpful and eye-opening and enlightening, learning a lot. I love to hear it. Love to hear it. Elliot says he has Ford and is really low, $10.06. Yeah. So I have Ford too, only because I worked at Ford. And so when I worked there, I purchased shares there, but there's a very good chance I'm gonna end up selling it because, like you said, it's very low and it hasn't done well over time. So it's just kind of stagnant. So I'm probably gonna sell the few shares of Ford that I own. All right, so I'm getting a lot of make sense. Okay, so let's run it back. So what are we buying shares in once it's split? So we're gonna keep an eye on these particular stocks that we talked about. Okay, they are again as follows: Tesla, Netflix, and FICO. These are 3 companies that are very highly priced right now that are expected to split by me as well as a number of well-revered industry analysts who are expecting it to split. Like I said, last year, they expected Chipotle, Chipotle to split, FICO to split, and NVIDIA. And 2 of the 3 split. So this is a pretty good prediction that at least one of these is going to split, if not all of them. Okay. Now, somebody asked me about Spirit, and I always caveat this by saying this might be controversial, but it's how I feel. I really believe that Spirit is going to come back. I think it's going to be a comeback story. If you're in My Rich Friends, I just posted something about Spirit today. So if you're in My Rich Friends and you haven't seen that post, make sure you go look. But to summarize it, Spirit was trading at 13 cents when the bankruptcy news came out in September. And I bought a bunch because when people are running, that means that the price is going down because it's the stock market prices are based upon supply and demand, right? So if it's more people want it, but less people are able to buy, the higher the price. Hence the ones that we talked about, right? If more people are selling, that means that they don't want it and the price becomes lower, right? So bankruptcy news comes out. Everybody's like, oh my gosh, Spears done. Absolutely, Spears gone or whatever. So we're going to sell. It went from whatever it was, like, $9, $10 or whatever, all the way down to 13 cents. And I bought a whole bunch. It then started rising. Everybody's like, oh, Spears done. Spears going out of business. I'm like, bankruptcy doesn't mean out of business. Bankruptcy means that they are restructuring their finances. And so just because somebody or a company files for bankruptcy does not mean that they're done and they're gone. That means that they're restructuring their money so that perhaps they can get out of the debt hole that they're in or what have you. It doesn't mean that they're gone forever. So I bought a whole bunch of shares of Spirit. Spirit then stayed around 13, 15 cents for a while, and then it shot up to 70 some cents. And I told everybody in My Rich Friends, buy Spirit. I came on here. I told y'all buy Spirit. And then it went down. What did people do? Oh my God, it's going back down. It went down to like 40 some cent. But guess what? It's back up to 55 cent, right? This is what the stock market does. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. We are buying and holding, right? We're buying and holding. Honestly, at 55 cents, which is what Spirit was today when I looked and I bought some more, at 55 cents, I mean, if you spend $100 on it and you lose your money, you lost $100. I mean, you spend $100 on nonsense, right? All the time. Like we all do, like I do as well, right? So it's like, why not spend it on something that might make you a lot of money? So also be educated when you're looking to buy things, right? So don't just buy it because somebody says buy it, actually research it. So when we look at Spirit, the news came out today or a couple days ago that Spirit just got a $300 million just got $300 million in financing. If Spirit got $300 million in financing, somebody's betting on Spirit, right? Somebody's betting on it. So if they're willing to spend $300 million, should I say, $300 million on this company to help it revive itself, to me, that's a very strong indication that they got something that they're not telling us is in the works. Because who's just giving somebody $300 million and just file bankruptcy, right? They're not. They are betting that it's going to do very well and come back. And so I'm like, well, if they can spend $300 million, I got, a couple hundred I can spend on this and see if it does something. So, that's why I believe in Spirit. I think it will come back. I think that America needs and wants a low priced, I believe that America needs and wants a low priced airline. And who else is there other than JetBlue? And Spirit is even lower than JetBlue. So that's my thoughts on Spirit. Shirley says, how do you start? How do you start what? How do you start buying stocks? You have to open up a brokerage account. And I actually have a video on that. I haven't posted it yet, but I'm gonna post this video on how to. It's very short. It's like 3 minutes on how to open a brokerage account because I get that question a lot, and I want to make sure that people know how to open a brokerage because you can. And I want to make sure that that's something you guys can do. But yes, you need to open up a brokerage account, and it literally takes you like a couple of minutes. It takes almost no time to open up a brokerage account. Okay. Janelle says she was responding, I think, about Tracy. She says, I feel the same way. Oh, I feel the same way after the last 2 nights of doing the Fix My Money Challenge. I will not give my money away anymore to the banks. No, girl, don't give it away. That's really what you're doing. You're giving it away. And not only are you giving your money away, but you're giving your money away plus more because you got to pay interest. E-Tree, so grateful for the information. that you're sharing with us. I saw you on Sitting at the Table with A.O. Hey, yes, Anthony O'Neill. Thank you for sharing that you saw me on there. There's actually a couple other people on here who was in that same video. But thank you for saying that, Idris. I'm glad that you saw me on there. I'm famous. Look at me. So King Wish, I answered your question about Spirit. That's how I feel about Spirit. I'm holding Spirit because it's so cheap. It's so cheap. And what's going to happen is when Spirit does come back, and it never really got like incredibly high. Like I think the highest it was like been $9 or $10, maybe $15. But even if you bought in at, like I bought in at 13 cents. Let's run them numbers. Let's run me some numbers. All right. Let's do this. Because the numbers are what matter, right? The numbers are what really crystallize things for you guys. So let me share my screen again. And then I'll let you guys go, unless you guys have more questions. Okay, so let me fix this. Okay, so I bought in at 13 cents, right? And let me actually look at Spirit real quick. I'm not going to share the screen because it's going to take too long. But if I look at Spirit, I want to see what their high was. So the highest price of Spirit ever was, oh, well, actually in 2015, it was $84. So let's say it gets back up to $84 at some point, right? So if I bought it at 13 cents, right? So 84, oops, hold on. A lot of screens. Okay, so $84 divided by 13 cents. That means I would have made 646 times my money. So if I bought it at 13 cents, right? And it happens to run back up to 646. I'm gonna write that down. 646 times. Okay. So when I bought in at 13 cents, I bought 1,000 shares. Okay. I bought 1,000 shares at 13. 1,000 shares at 13 cents. No, that's not right. 1,000 at 13 cents. So I spent $130 to buy 1,000 shares. All right. So let's say it ran back up to 646, or it ran back up to $84, right? Which would be 646 times my investment. All right. So times 6. So times 646. So for $130 investment, I will make $83,000 for just investing $130. If it goes back up to that at some point, right? So again, like what's $130? I can spend $130 on dumb stuff. So I'm like, well, I might as well try and see what happens. Even if I lose my money, I only lost $130. Like I didn't lose. And I'm not saying $130 is no money. What I'm saying is that think about all the things that you can spend that money on, or that you have spent that money on, right? Like I'm always telling you guys, pay yourself first. Pay yourself first. That means that when you get paid, the first person or first entity you pay is you. That means that you're either putting the money into your high yield savings account so you can get 3 to 6 months of living expenses, or you are investing in the stock market. You're putting money into your brokerage account, or you're putting money into your retirement. Either way, you're paying one of the accounts or some of the accounts that you own. That's what you do first. And then from there, you pay everything after that. And if you're like, oh, well, I don't have any money left over to pay myself, that's because you don't pay yourself first. If you paid yourself first, you would use whatever else is for everybody else, because your cup has to run over, right? If your cup doesn't run over, you don't have enough money for everybody else. So if you're at a point where you're like, well, I don't even have enough money to put into a savings account or invest, that means that you got too many expenses that you're paying other people. And those of you who are in the Fix My Money Challenge or who have taken it, you guys know this to be true, right? Like we just did a class last night and somebody came on, they were spending, over $2,000 a month in food and didn't realize it, right? And so like, I'm not calling out any names, but like, she's like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that I was spending all that money in food. If she takes just $1,000 of that and took that and invested in the stock market and put it into her high yield savings account instead of paying somebody else, right? Like there's your money. You know what I mean? So bottom line is you have to pay yourself first. So how do you start, Shirley? You have to open up a brokerage account. So Shirley, you have to open up a brokerage account. So you can open up a brokerage account with Fidelity, Robinhood, which is probably the easiest. Charles Schwab, any of those, right? You can open them up very easily. It takes just a couple of minutes. Like I said, I have a video on it. I haven't posted it yet. I'll post the video on how to open up a brokerage account because it's a very common question. And I'll make sure that you guys have it. Devin says, just get a side gig. Yeah, you could just get a side gig, but who wants this? Like, do you really want to trade more of your time for money? Because you can't get your time back. You can make more money, but you can never get your time back, right? So yeah, you could just get a side gig, but who really wants to have to go work after they've already worked for 8 hours or however long they work at their jobs? Who wants to work more, right? So if you could just reduce your expenses, you didn't have to go use any extra money. That's the same money. You're just reallocating it to paying yourself instead of paying somebody else. Because I don't want to go get a side gig. Like, I'm already tired of working as it is, right? I don't want to go do no extra work. If I don't have to, I think I'm pretty much like most people. If they don't have to get an extra job, they don't want to. So if they can just reallocate some of their money they're spending frivolously or spending in places that they don't need to, it's much easier to move that into paying yourself. Which company should you open an account with? I'm not going to tell you which one you should open an account with. I'll tell you which ones you shouldn't open an account with. How about that? Because that's easier to answer. So pretty much all the brokerages do all the same things, right? But what most people don't realize is that the stock charts, like the NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange, they actually pay, or the brokerages, they pay those exchanges in order to be able to list their stocks, right? And so a company like Charles Schwab, Robinhood, that's all they do, right? That's all they do. So their whole business is having those stocks available so you can purchase them on their websites. Companies like, like Acorns, a Cash App, that is not their primary business. And so for that reason, they don't have all of the stuff, right? So you may only have New York Stock Exchange companies, which means that you could not buy, like, say, NVIDIA. You couldn't buy NVIDIA necessarily. I'm just making this up. I don't know. I haven't looked at Cash App, right? But let's say Cash App only purchases from New York Stock Exchange. Well, NVIDIA is on NASDAQ. So if they don't have NASDAQ, you can't buy NVIDIA on Cash App, for example, right? Because that's not their primary business. Their primary business is providing ways for people to give their friends money and pay other people through their bank accounts. That's what Cash App's primary business is. And so because of that, they don't have a lot of the stuff that other real brokerages will have. So my advice is to not purchase with a company or not get a brokerage with a company whose primary business is not stock brokering. So that means that you can look at E-Trade, Robinhood, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, Vanguard. Any of those are good choices. All of them, they pretty much all do the same thing. Stash, Jill says, I have Stash. Is that good? I don't like Stash because it charges fees, and I don't like fees. So I think Dr. Nicole said the same thing. Yeah, she said Stash charges fees. So no. Because here's the thing, it's too many brokerages that don't charge fees. So why pay for something that does charge fees? You don't need to pay for that. So I don't like Stash. Raquelia says, what is the name of the video you talked about negotiating debt? That was actually a video I just posted last week on my channel. Let me find it for you. It's called Negotiate Your Debt Away and Save Thousands. So I'll post the link here for you so you can click on it and check it out. Okay. That's the link to the negotiating debt video. Raquelia. Regina says, I'm tired of working. Been tired of working. Child, me too. I understand. Too bad I don't have that $11 million that I could have made off of Chipotle. I would still make these videos though, because I actually love doing this. I love doing this. and I don't work for a company, like I own my own businesses, but some of them are not like public. Like y'all know about Naturalicious, y'all know about this. But the other stuff I do, like some of that, I've been doing that for so long. It's like I just gotta continue doing it. I'm like, I'm tired of doing this. I won't do this no more. Jock says she's on a no buy year. So I can put all my money in the stock market or my high yield savings account. I love that for you. I love that. Obviously, you're gonna have to buy some things, right? But yeah, I love that you're being very intentional about where your money goes, right? Because if you're not if you don't have a plan for your money's gonna have a plan for you, and I can guarantee you, it's not a plan that you're gonna like. I guarantee you, it's not a plan that you're gonna like. Okay. All right, all right, all right. Is that it for the questions? Hopefully this video has been super helpful for you. If you have not clicked the like button, please go ahead and press the like button. Thank you so much for everybody who did. I think Dr. Nicole posted earlier that we were over 130 likes on this video. I so appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. And if you have any other questions, feel free to let me know. And with that, I will talk to you guys later, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a great night, everybody. And for those of you in the Fix My Money Challenge, I will see you all tonight. Yes, Margaret, I do have one-on-one coaching. I'll post a link for that in just a second. Hang on a second. So you can get right to it. Hold on. I gotta find it. I'll find it for you. Okay, here it goes. And you can actually book an appointment right on the website as well. For your for you to make you can book and sign up for your appointment at the same time. All right. Have a great night, everybody. I'll talk to you guys later. See you soon. Bye.